Stories from the front lines. The pandemic has been tough on all of us, but for nurses, it has been a life and death odyssey that just won't end. And as we turn the corner to the new year, what's become an annual chat with the Futurist for Ford Motor Company, Sheryl Connelly. Today is Sunday, December 26, 2021, and this is Flashpoint. Hi, welcome to Flashpoint. A very Merry Christmas. I hope the holiday has been filled with joy for you and yours. We're going to have a conversation this morning I've been wanting to have for some time. And as we're thinking about the blessings in our lives, I've been mindful that you and I are fortunate to be surrounded by a very dedicated group of workers, a group that has been tried, tested, and sadly tormented for 2 years now. I don't know how they do it, but with our hospitals swelling over the past few months, the state's nurses just keep digging down and finding the reserve and the strength to carry on, surrounded by agony and still so much death. You know, I learned something interesting from my experience covering the Oklahoma City bombing. You know, search and rescue dogs are taught to find signs of life. And in the bombing aftermath, they had a real problem with the dogs becoming depressed because they could find no signs of life. Now, those were dogs. Imagine how taxing it is on the human spirit to day after day watching so many lives slip away, especially when most of them could have been saved with less than an ounce of prevention. Now, to be sure, they also did get a few moments of triumph, but is that enough to carry them through? I've got 4 nurses on call this morning to talk about their experiences. A little later on, we'll have our New Year's check-in with Sheryl Connelly. She's the chief futurist for Ford. She's got new survey results and, of course, her own keen intuition to tell us about the trends and the attitudes that will shape 2022. It's all today on Flashpoint. Well, we had assumed that the worst of it for Michigan hospitals was that awful stretch before the vaccines were developed and out, and yet here we are in what administrators are telling us is even worse. And for those nurses and doctors working those packed wards and care units, the vaccine does make it worse in a way because they're watching people who did not have to die in most cases. I'm very happy to have with me this morning 4 dedicated healthcare professionals. These are the nurses working in insane conditions. Susan Grant is the Chief Nursing Officer for Beaumont Health. Erin Cavanaugh is the Clinical Nurse Coordinator for Henry Ford Hospital's Emergency Department. Brittany Anderson is a nurse in the Medical Intensive Care Unit at Sparrow Hospital in Lansing, which we know has had a horrendous stretch with the virus. And Priska Onwenu is an ICU nurse with Henry Ford in West Bloomfield. I want to start by saying I just admire everything that you all are doing and the commitment with which you all are working. But I know this has been a horrendous stretch, so I really appreciate the time. And let me start with you, Susan. Tell me a little bit about what this stretch has been like, given that you've already been through 3 other surges, as we've called them, and they somehow keep getting worse.
Yeah, that's right. You know, nurses through the first surge, which was really, you know, our highest surge, but we're very close to that now. This 4th surge stepped up and have been very devoted and dedicated to caring for their patients and families and have done that over and over again. And this time it's harder because as time has gone on and the pandemic has been so prolonged, it has really caused tremendous amount of exhaustion and frustration, quite honestly, to see that we have people who are very, very sick fighting for their lives who could have prevented it and by getting vaccinated. And so it's been very difficult and very frustrating.
Priska, it's interesting because this is what you all have really been trained to do and trained for, and yet for it to just keep coming at you so relentlessly without really an end in sight is asking so much of you and your colleagues, isn't it?
It's asking so much, but at the same time, this is what we've been trained to do. This is what we do. We don't have a choice but to be there for those patients.
Well, there's no choice, but yet it's got to be so mentally taxing, and you must find yourselves, you must see a fair amount of despair and depression among your coworkers, don't you?
Yes, and even frustration to some extent, because like everyone knows, the first surge we didn't have a choice. Nobody had a choice. There was nothing to help. We were all doing the best that we could. With this fourth surge, I mean, we have a vaccine, we have a booster, and I personally feel like if everybody would just go get the vaccine, it wouldn't be this bad. I had COVID in November. I never had to go to the hospital because I was vaccinated. I had my booster. You know, I had mild symptoms for 2 days and it was done.
Yeah,
you know?
It's so
That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. That's why I'm trying to tell everybody, go get vaccinated.
Yeah, we're still struggling to get that message. Yeah, we're still struggling to get that message across that by being vaccinated, yes, you may still get sick, but probably not without the dire consequences. Aaron Kavanaugh, I love that you handed out superhero T-shirts to all of your colleagues, which I think is exactly exactly the right message. There must be, though, a lot of difficulty in keeping up that esprit de corps right now, but I know that that's what you were aiming at doing.
Yes, I handed out superhero T-shirts to my coworkers, and they are heroes, and they continue to be heroes. They don't feel like heroes these days. Particularly, some of the patients unvaccinated can be very difficult, and they don't appreciate due to a lack of knowledge of what we're trying to teach them. It's very grueling work. It's very difficult work. It's long hours. It's exhausting, but it's so hard to see people so sick that could be prevented. But my coworkers, I'm so grateful for them to be by my side and to just walk into work every single day, and we do the best that we can do that day. Yes.
You are superheroes then in that sense. Brittany, I have read so many stories about what's been going on at your hospital at Sparrow. It has been just horrendous. I don't know how you all are keeping up. It's been one of the real crisis point hospitals, I think, across the entire state. Tell me a little bit about what your experience has been like.
Well, as we've been talking, I've just played back through my mind when this first started. I remember when we were sheltering in place and thinking, boy, I hope this thing's over by Easter. Here we are in December 2021, and it's still surging. COVID hasn't gone anywhere. It's been really intense at work. I've been working in the ICU for 15 years. And in the last 18 or so months, I haven't seen death on this scale before. And that's been really difficult to handle personally. I've had a lot of patients reach out and grab my hand right before they go on a ventilator and beg me not to let them die. That's happened more than once. These patients have been isolated from their families, and there's very limited visiting hours and opportunities for them to see their loved ones. So I've been kind of, holding the cell phone as their loved ones have been saying goodbye to patients. And I've listened to a lot of things on the phone that have been difficult. And it's hard to just go home after work and just make dinner and act like everything's okay. If you take the stories with you, and we care about our patients. So I would say it's been really challenging.
That's what I was going to ask you all about. It was your coping mechanisms and strategies. Susan, what do you do at the end of the day? Do you find it impossible to leave work at work, or have you found a way to make the break?
I do struggle to leave work at work. I think my colleagues here on this panel, are warriors, and the colleagues I work with they're warriors. And it has been such a struggle, and you can't leave the worry at work because these are all people we care about who are saving lives literally every day, and their wellness and well-being is critical and paramount.
Yeah. Priska, I know you had an experience that has kind of been extremely formative for you through this whole experience. Going back to 2020, you had a patient that you referred to as the last man standing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So it was a patient we had for about 1 month in our unit, and this was at the end of the first surge. So just like what everybody that's here knows with COVID, one day they do well and then the next day they decompensate. And sometimes they die from that. But this particular man was there for a month. He would do well one day. The next day was a bad day for him. And then 2 days later, he jumped back up. So we had such high hopes for him. He was, just our last COVID patient in the unit at the end of that first surge. So everybody was praying. He'd been there, and we were hoping he would do well and he would be one of our success stories that would work out of the unit.
Yeah.
And he ended up not making it. No family at the bedside, like Britt said. So many days we would all go in and hold his hands. You could see the fear in his eyes, looking at all this unfamiliar faces he didn't know. And we were the ones that, could hold his hands and talk to him. So it was a particularly difficult one.
Yeah.
That's the one that made me go home and cry and just hate COVID and everything that had to do with COVID.
I certainly get that. Aaron, I mentioned off the top of the program, you all are trained, of course, toward good outcomes, and you live every day with that kind of hope in your heart and in your hands and minds, and yet you have had to deal with so much, not failure on your part, because certainly there have been failures in the system and failures in patients to do the best things for them, but you just haven't. Have you had enough good news and good outcomes to keep you to make it from the next one day to the next?
It is one day at a time, Devin, and there's always good news. I always try to be positive. I look at my coworkers and see the strength through them. I see patients who are willing to wait longer, who are understanding, who get what's going on. There's good news because of the science that we have available. I mean, we have so much technology, the medicines that are available. I'm very grateful for that. But the community has to participate in that. One, getting the vaccine, and two, coming in when they're very, very sick. But there's always hope and there's faith. I'm very hopeful that all the health systems will continue to have the strength that we're trained to deliver.
Yeah. Brittany, those of us in my business have struggled mightily with misinformation. I get emails constantly from people who have the craziest ideas and things to say about COVID and the vaccine. I can't imagine what it's been like for you trying to fight the flow of bad information, and you must see it almost every day in patients.
I did have to stop reading things on social media for a while. There is a lot of misinformation. I did think of one hopeful story is our very first COVID patient that we admitted at Sparrow actually recovered. And every couple months, she shows up at the hospital with a homemade lunch and drops it off for the day shift and the night shift nurses. She makes a card and gives it to us. And we have really seen a lot of support from the community. And I think that increases morale when things look really bleak here. Just getting a little note or somebody says, like, I see what you're going through and I see what these patients are going through, that makes the difference. I can't even explain.
Well, we all see what you're going through. I certainly do, and I'm glad that we've allowed Flashpoint viewers this morning to see that as well. Thank you all so much for the commitment that you're keeping up every day, and thanks so much for the time. Have a happy New Year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Take a quick break. Back with more in just a minute on Flashpoint on Local 4.
At DraftKings Casino, we give credit where credit is due, in the form of credit. Sign up with DraftKings Casino and get up to $50 in free credits, plus a deposit bonus up to $2,000. That's like extra credit in the form of a bonus. Download the DraftKings Casino app or play online today. Get up to $50 in credits to use on any game, plus a deposit bonus up to $2,000. Now, roll credits.
This is a Gardner White exclusive. Serta chose us to be the elite store for the new Serta Perfect Sleeper Ultimate Hybrid with memory foam comfort and inner spring support. Save up to $600 off the lowest price. And right now, get a Serta Ultimate Hybrid, Queen or King, just $12.99. Plus free gifts. That's as low as $22 a month with 0% financing up to 60 months. In stock with free same-day delivery. Exclusively at Gardner White, Detroit's #1 mattress store.
Forgotten Harvest does make all the difference for me. It really, truly does.
Most people are on a limited income.
Gave us food that probably wouldn't have been able to buy.
They have whatever it takes to feed a family.
Forgotten Harvest means the difference between having a full meal or just a box on the table. When things happen in life, Forgotten Harvest is there to help you.
I have to tell you, I really got to know this city when I started reporting here on the streets. I got to know the people, how real they are, their grit, their determination, and that is what made me fall in love with Detroit. This is where I choose to live, to raise my family. So when I'm reporting on these stories, I think, I know where that is. That's a street I drive down often, or that's near where my son goes to school. Stories that matter to you matter to me. These are the stories you'll see on Local 4 News.
All right, now to what has become my favorite New Year's conversation. I think it's our third straight year talking about the crystal ball that belongs to Sheryl Connelly. She's the chief futurist for Ford. I love that job title. And every year at this time, she puts out the results of a survey that peers into the future. Sheryl, very happy New Year to you. It's really great to have you back.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Before we dig into your new findings, I'm really curious about what you are learning about the impact of a pandemic on and what they do to your findings and your expectations. Don't they sort of turn this into a bit of a funhouse mirror?
That's a good way of putting it. You know, it's interesting. We found, we asked in 2020, so in the midst of the pandemic, when life would return to normal. And what we found was that about 44% of people worldwide said it'll take 1 to 2 years. We repeated that question this year, and we asked it a little bit more nuanced. But generally speaking, across the domains of work, retail, travel, recreation, we know about 10 to 15% of people say it'll never return to normal. And so I think that's wise. I myself fall under that camp. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, yes. In fact, I think some people enjoy some of the changes that we've had to make, and we'll talk about those. But I want to start with, it was interesting that right out of the gate, no subtlety in the headline of your study. People right now are concerned with the future of the planet. This is no small matter.
Well, with good reason. I mean, 81% of people told us that that's among their top concern is climate change. And we think about the planet, not just, you know, in terms of sustainability, but let's talk about the population. We have 7.8 billion people worldwide. By 2050, that number could be at 10 billion. And the question is, how will we manage the resources to meet the needs of a population that large? And this is why Ford is investing so heavily in things like sustainability. We're all in on electric vehicles. We expect to spend $30 billion over the next couple of years to move our EV agenda forward, but also just to try to create more opportunities in zero emission vehicles. So I think, you know, we start with there and we hope for the best, but there are some people that actually believe that we will eventually move to a future where we have to harvest from other planets to meet the full needs.
Well, in fact, that was one of the things you wrote. The question maybe is no longer how to sustain this planet, but how to exit it, which is fairly dramatic and dire.
Yes. In fact, 60% of people worldwide told us that they imagine that sometime in the future, we will actually have to harvest resources to sustain mankind on this planet.
Yeah.
Sobering thought.
It sure is. You also spent quite a bit of time talking to people about the future and concerns about food.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, one of the things that we have to think about is how to make sure we feed a population of the size. And there are people who say that if we get to over 9 billion people, we can actually feed everyone, no problem, on the single condition that you, me, everyone in this country, everyone on this planet would have to become vegetarian. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I was raised on steak and potatoes. So I know that would be very, very hard for me to imagine. But 35% of the people we surveyed worldwide said that they believe that during their lifetime, the majority of people will move to a diet that's no longer animal-based in terms of protein. That the U.S., though, comes in a bit lower, only at 26%.
For so long, I think looked at baby boomers as because they were a lot of the decision makers in Washington, for example, are baby boomers, and we've seen that as being such an influential group. How do you now we look at what the millennials and Gen Z are telling you? Where do you apportion the influence now of where things are going? Who is leading in the decision making right now in our world?
Well, as a parent, I got to tell you, it's those kids. My kids have unprecedented influence on decisions we make in our household. But I love the cohort insights. The baby boomers help us understand why things are the way they are today. But when you look to the millennials, 40 to 25, and the Gen Zers, so we call them sometimes Zoomers, 25 and younger, they give us clues as to what we can expect in the future. And 1 in 3 tell us that they can imagine that children of today will not even need to learn how to drive. That they won't need their driver's license.
Astonishing, because you and I couldn't wait to get that piece of paper in our hands. I'm really curious about what you think the pandemic is doing to our ability to think about our future. Last year, you and I talked a lot about the epidemic of loneliness going on in the world. I don't know that another year of everybody working in isolation has changed that. People are changing now their expectations of what the workplace is. You were telling me a little while ago, you kind of like the freedom of being able to work from home now. So what do you suppose the future of work looks like?
So it's interesting because, we talked about it. I don't live far from Dearborn, but my commute can range anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on the time of day and the weather conditions. Worldwide, we ask people, did the changes brought about because of COVID make your work-life balance better or worse? And 32% of them said it made it better for them. In the United States, that number was a bit lower, only at 26%. Now, bear in mind, there's a good number of people that said there was really no change. But we do think that, we're finding new and different ways to collaborate. The tools that have accelerated, the things that Ford has done to make it easier for people like me and my teammates to work collaboratively, even though we're in different locations, has been really impressive. And the pace at which it's changed, it actually makes us think that change in the future could happen in a way that's much more rapid than we anticipate.
Yeah. Lastly, Sheryl, this isn't exactly part of the survey, but when I look back through the history of civilization, I think that it's generally fueled by optimism, best fueled when there's a great deal of optimism around, and that we can think about the possibilities ahead of us. I'm wondering how much optimism you think people are finding right now, or is it when you're talking about, the future of the planet and in the middle of a pandemic that we can't quite seem to get our arms around, how much optimism is out there, and how much of a challenge is just sort of the malaise of pessimism?
So we have looked at some numbers like this over the years, and before COVID, 66% of people worldwide told us that they were overwhelmed by changes taking place in the world. Yeah, and in the context of COVID, we thought that number would skyrocket. It didn't. It only went up to 69%, which was kind of surprising. Yeah. My takeaway from that is that people are becoming accustomed to disruption, a little bit of chaos, volatility. In other words, we live with this low-grade fever of anxiety. However, I am a true optimist. And I will tell you again, as I've told you before, no one can predict the future, but I do believe we can create it. We can drive it in the direction that's most beneficial to all of us. And that only comes about if you're optimistic about what's possible. And that's what our trend report's all about. I hope your audience will check it out in detail at fordtrends.com. But we're having these discussions now. If you're worried about having to become a vegetarian, if you're worried about the shortage of water, you're worried about traffic jams in the sky, well, we have to start planning for that future. And this is meant to create that dialogue.
Yeah, so right. Well, I'll recommend it. fordtrends.com. Check it out. Sheryl, it's always good to spend this time talking to you. Hopefully back in person again real soon, but have a happy new year.
I look forward to it.